Welcome to the Architects of Latino Success podcast. I'm your host, Joe Castillo, and today's guest is someone I've always admired for his ability to jump into the unknown, take on uncomfortable challenges, and absolutely thrive in those situations. Jona Gamboa is the founder and CEO of the Gamboa Real Estate Group. Starting in 2006, he quickly became a recognized leader in real estate, not only mentoring others, but also empowering clients and his community along the way. Driven by a passion to help others succeed, Jona's led educational programs, radio talk shows, and virtual classes, all while building an incredible, successful real estate business. He's been honored as one of the top agents nationally and in Utah, securing a spot on the prestigious Nahrep Top 250 Real Estate Agents list for 6 years running. Jona is also an influential leader within Nahrep, serving as the National Board Director and a Nahrep 10 certified trainer. His commitment to the growth and dedication to helping others have made him a true force for change in the industry. Ready to get started? Vamos. Hey, Jona, thanks for joining.
Thank you for inviting me. It's an honor to be here with you.
Thank you so much. We've known each other for quite a few years, and I've always been a big fan of your story, and I've seen your growth through this industry and through Nahrep itself. So looking forward to this conversation.
I'm excited to be here and share some of the things. We'll see what questions you want to ask me.
That's right. I hope you're ready. So let's start off with an easy one. How did you get started in real estate, and what got you involved in Nahrep?
First of all, I never thought about being in real estate. My major is in electrical engineering, but actually I moved to the States after finishing my career. And when I was waiting for my immigration documents, I went to real estate school because I said, one day I want to invest in real estate and I wanted to know how it works in America, but in the United States. So I went to real estate just to learn. I never thought about being on sales. And after I got my license, I'm like, this can be an opportunity for me to have my own business, and I'm going to go for it. And then I called my company that I worked for in Mexico, which is Procter & Gamble, and I said, you know what, I found a better job. I hadn't sold a single house. Oh, wow. And I said, I found it, and I decided to go into real estate.
So you were committed to yourself. You had trust in yourself.
I don't know if I was dumb or I believe in me, but I did that move. Now, how did I get involved in Nahrep? That was the
other part. Yeah.
So a really great friend of mine, she invited me to one event from Nahrep in Salt Lake City, Utah. Mm-hmm. So that was my first introduction. To be honest, I was not really sold at that moment into Nahrep. But 2 years later, this great friend of mine, probably you know her, Nuria Rivera.
I think many of us know Nuria.
A past president. She said, Jona, let's go and let's make what Nahrep really is about. Let's help our community. And even though I was living in Utah and the Hispanic population was not that big in Utah
at
that time,
yeah,
most of my clients were Hispanic, and I was really passionate about helping the community. And I saw a lot of people that they were taking advantage of. Do you remember before 2008, there was a lot of things going on in the industry. So I was really passionate about helping my community, and I said, okay, let's go into Salt Lake City, Nahrep, and really raise the bar. And that's why I decided to get involved into Nahrep, and I went to be part of the board. And then after that, Nuria was president, I was vice president, then I was president, and the story continues.
The rest is history. That's right. If you don't mind me asking, how did you view real estate in America growing up in Mexico? I was just wondering, did you see it any differently than someone that grew up here? Because I know those of us that are here, or the immigrants that are here, where the idea of home ownership is so important to us, and it's just kind of, what was the mindset, or how did you view things from Mexico before coming here?
Well, to be honest, I never thought about I didn't have any perception about owning a house in the United States. I didn't know how it worked.
Yeah.
I just knew the way that it worked in Mexico, that usually you just buy a little piece of land, and you start building.
That's right.
And and then you have kids, and then you add another floor and just keep building.
Keep the rebar in, right, to keep going up higher.
Yeah, you see the houses, and then you keep the rebar, right, so you can add another floor.
That's right.
So that's why I wanted to come here. And when I came here, I'm like, I want to learn. I didn't have any money. I actually owe my grandma 40,000 pesos, but I'm like, I want to know how the system works. But I knew that there were some mortgages, and most people, they were paying their houses, and that was a foreign concept for me, but I wanted to learn how that works. So basically, I just wanted to learn and be like, how does that work? Actually, it's kind of interesting because if you think about it, in Mexico, I think that most people are own their own houses.
Yeah.
I mean, they are paid off. And here in America, that is a country that has more possibilities. We don't know.
Because of the mortgages, being able to leverage, essentially.
You leverage that, most people, they still owe something in their houses, you know?
It's interesting. I think a central theme throughout most of this conversation, I think, will be your love for learning, and so we'll touch on that a little bit more. But talk to us a little bit about your leadership time in Nahrep. Some of maybe your favorite memories or biggest obstacles that you encountered through your leadership role.
But to begin with, I mean, I joined Nahrep because I want to help the community. And at the beginning, I remember in 2014, 15, when we started this chapter, well, the chapter was already there, but when we really want to make a difference in the community, it was challenging to just adapt to the rules of nationwide. There were some rules and some changes. And sometimes we live in a scarcity mentality. So sometimes we were like, oh, we need to support national, or do these things. And I hadn't gone to the national convention, so sometimes we were like, why do we need to do these things?
It's a big difference once you get exposed to the national events.
Yes, but I will tell you that one of the moments that I think that it was totally worth it, it's when this little chapter, Salt Lake City chapter, I mean, compared with Chicago, and Los Angeles, and some other chapters, Salt Lake City was like, people, they just tell like, are they Hispanics in Salt Lake City? I remember that when we went to the First Leadership Academy, they're like, are there a lot of Hispanics? But there were some. We were the only ones. No. But I remember that we were able to bring a production with Jerry Asensio, 53 million and what.
Yes, amazing.
And I remember that in the moment that he said that, we started working all as a board, and we sold out that theater. It was a theater, and we sold out. And I remember that Jerry Asensio came, Omar Tejeda came to that event, and it was a challenge, but it was so nice to see that story being told to the people. I remember that I had invited over like, I don't know if it was like 100 of my clients.
Oh,
people.
wow.
I'm like, this,
you really took advantage of it.
I'm like, hey, I want them to see the experience, because as an immigrant, I mean, when you see that production,
It's amazing.
It's amazing because you remember either you did it or your parents or your grandparents. So that was a great victory because it was a success as a board, but also it was a great moment that we brought Nahrep and to Salt Lake City in a different way.
It's interesting. You have experience with a up and coming chapter at Salt Lake City, an up and coming city. And so do you see that as one of your biggest strengths, having that experience through because you're a trainer as well for many of the chapters. And many of these new chapters that are coming up are in similar situations or cities as what Salt Lake was years ago. Do you see that as a strength for you to have that experience?
I think that is yes, definitely. But I think that is a great opportunity. I actually think that it's easier to go and conquer in those emerging markets than when you have a market that is already really well established.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have an emerging market, you can make a name for Nahrep, for yourself.
That's right.
And actually, for all those people that are in those emerging markets, really they are hungry. And something that happens that is different too is a lot of times there are not a lot of Hispanic communities. I mean, when you go to maybe Miami, I mean, a lot of people speak Spanish, right? Or most people.
That's right. Yeah.
Or Los Angeles. But when you come from Salt Lake City, people are hungry. They're like, I wanna be part of something.
Because they don't have a community.
You don't have a community. So for me, one of the things that started happening, I remember going to the first conference in Los Angeles for me, 2014. I still remember. I got there, and suddenly everybody was hugging me, kissing me, like the Hispanic culture.
Thankful.
And I would miss that so much because my family doesn't live in the United States. My family lives in Mexico, and my clients, it's not like I go and kiss my clients, hug them the same way. It's different, right? So I got there and I felt like I was with familia. I will be honest, I remember going back and I was feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm leaving my familia. I didn't want to leave. I'm like, this is my familia. We dance, we joke, we learn together. And it was something that it was super powerful for me.
That's amazing. As far as all these leadership positions that you've taken, whether, personally or professionally or within Nahrep, I mean, I'd love to hear from you, like, what is your approach from leadership? You are a team leader at KW. What have you learned from your roles as a leader? How do you lead? What's your approach to leadership?
Well, I will tell you that if anyone has opportunity to be a coach for Nahrep, that really, it was a great experience. And thank you to Armando and Daisy that they were leading us coaches.
Chapter leaders, yeah.
The chapter leaders. It was a great experience because I think that you can read a lot about leadership and you want to get the theory, but until you go out there and start leading people, and some people have said that the hardest people to lead are the volunteers.
Of course.
Because when I am a boss, if the employees don't do what they're supposed to do, they're going to be fired, right?
That's right.
So you have some leverage. But when you go and lead volunteers, they're just giving their time.
That's right.
So it really helped me to learn a lot of things and polish a lot of my leadership skills. And something that is really key, and I will tell every chapter president, remember, your job as a leader is not go and do everything. If you're doing everything, you're not being a great leader. Your job as a leader is, number one, is to cast the vision.
Oh, okay.
Cast the vision. Where are we going?
Okay.
What and why are we going there? Because if you can draw the motivation, like help people to connect with the motivation, that is to serve the community, not yourself. It's not about your name. But if you can help people to connect with the mission, why they're involved with Nahrep, which is empowering the Hispanic community.
That's right.
To really help them to create wealth, sustainable home ownership. If you help them to just stay focused on that, and aside of that or next to it, if you help them to see what's the vision, where you are going, then at that point, you just need to delegate and then love them. What I mean by loving them is holding them accountable. For me, accountability equals love.
Interesting.
And when you really hold people accountable, they might not like it in that moment. But if they get it, sometimes they're the people that they appreciate it the most. If they are great leaders and if they are there for the right reason.
Yeah, I love the way you put that because to me, when I hear you talking about, your leadership, how you apply leadership and what have you, it seems like one of your big goals is to create new leaders.
Yeah, I think that he is one of, I would say that they are good presidents or good leaders and they are great ones. The good ones, you can see that certainly if you are, I don't know, a chapter president, your chapter does really well while you are there.
That's right.
They are good leaders.
That's right.
But in the moment that they leave, it goes south. So they were just good leaders. The great leaders, their chapters do really well while they're there. But after they leave, at least 1-2 years later, the chapter keeps growing. Why? Because they develop other leaders. So as a leader, you need to shine, yes, help the people, do all that you need to do. And it's okay to shine because of the good work that you did with your board members, but you need to prepare the future leaders. Otherwise, it's going to die.
It's interesting because I can see you applying what you've learned through Nahrep to your business. You have a team in Utah, but you live in Florida. I assume it's because you've been able to grow leaders within your team that are still in Utah.
Yeah, I would not be able to do that. I mean, really, if I wouldn't acquire a lot of skills that I acquired through Nahrep, leading, I would not have been able to do that. And the cool thing is not just there; it's with your kids and with yourself. I mean, I always tell people the person that is the hardest to lead is yourself.
I mean, honestly, I can't imagine. Yeah, truly, words can't be told. When we're talking about realtors, right? People that essentially have their own businesses. They need to be able to motivate themselves and be a leader for themselves.
I tell all the agents in my team, you need to first lead yourself, know where you want to go, see where you're going, build that bridge, and every day that you take a step closer to get to your goal, you're being a leader of your life, and you're being successful.
And your family, right?
And your family and your kids. Before you start thinking about, I'm going to lead a lot of people, lead yourself. And then people will get behind you, and they will align with you, and they will follow. But if you're not a leader of your own life, I mean, what's the purpose? What's the point?
So I know you as a realtor, as a team leader, obviously as a Nahrep leader, as an investor, real estate investor, international real estate. You got your hands in so many things, and so we touched on that earlier about how you love to learn. talk to us a little bit about how you keep yourself motivated to grow. How do you keep yourself motivated or to attempt different things, to put yourself in situations that are uncomfortable? How do you do that?
I think that it has been different through time. When I came to the United States, to be honest, there was one motivation, and it was money, but it was not money.
Okay.
I will explain better, because I wanted to have enough money so my wife wouldn't have to struggle how my mom did when I was growing up. I want to make sure that my wife didn't have to go through those struggles, that my kids will have opportunities, not fancy things, but opportunities.
Right.
Because I wanted to have opportunities when I was growing up to go to Brazil and play soccer, like just to practice and do things. And sometimes my parents didn't have that money, right? So I just want to make sure that I was going to have enough money, not for the money, but to give opportunities to my kids and the peace of mind to my wife. And I want to be that provider, you know? Later on, when I started making money, but buying investment properties, something changed. And for me, it was, I need to be the better version of myself. And my parents, they did so much for me. How come I was just going to stay comfortable and stop growing? And if my creator gave me so many talents, my duty is to be the best version of myself. To go out there, I have a gift. I believe that I have a gift. You have special gifts, and that's why we're different. And we need to go out there and live fully and really be the best version of ourselves. We need everyone to do the same.
Yeah.
And going back, my kids also, they're a great motivation. I cannot go with my kids and say, you can do this, push yourself, and then I don't do this.
As you don't do it yourself.
So my family is a great motivator for me.
Of course. So we talked about learning, about family, of course. Talk to me about, these are just some fun questions I have and I like to ask everyone here. But, if you were to write a book, okay, what would the title be for that book, and what would be that central theme that runs through it that people could take away once they're done reading it?
I have put a little bit of thought to that. I'm like, man, a book. There's so many books that I want to write at the point, right? But I think that being relentless.
All right, that's the title. Relentless.
Relentless about life.
Okay.
I think that relentless about being the best version of yourself. I mean, I think that will be the title, relentless about being the best version of yourself. Because, I mean, we are all in different stages.
That's right.
There are people that are really successful at some things. Different people have different talents. And sometimes I need to remind myself, it's okay. You have your own talents. And you are gifted in one unique way. All that I need to do is to do my best and keep learning, keep pushing myself to give that gift to.
So be comfortable with yourself, but you still push yourself.
Out. Oh, yeah. There's a different thing being okay with yourself or being happy with who you are. Yeah. And another thing is to be a mediocre, right? It's not that. It's really to pushing yourself to be the best that you can become.
That's right.
Or that you can be.
I love it. I can't wait to read it.
Okay. That's good. A deal.
And so last but not least, what belief or habit do you hold that most people would find unconventional, okay, that you think has made the biggest difference in your success?
Well, I will tell you some that they are fun, and some people, probably you it's not going to be hard for you to imagine, but, there's a principle that it says, successful people is not what happened to them, what shaped them, is how you react to those things, right? Mm-hmm. How you approach those things. So one of the things that I remember, and there is Tony Robbins, we had the pleasure to have in one of the conventions.
Amazing, yeah.
It's a lot of times you react depending on what you focus on. That's one of them. But sometimes it's hard to change that in a moment. But one of the things that he also talks about, it is your physiology.
Okay.
And one of the things that I have learned is sometimes when you are in a low state, the decisions that you make in that moment, they want to be really different than when you are like pumped up and you're ready to conquer anything. I mean, you can see it in soccer or in basketball.
Sure.
Michael Jordan, in the last shot, he was like, give it to me.
Yeah.
I got this. And you knew, you used to see his face and you're like, this guy, I don't know how. Their team knew that he was going to get it and he was going to make that basketball. But there are some soccer players that they want to have a penalty kick and you're like, oh no.
Forget it.
Do you know what I mean?
You know what's going to happen.
So I'm sharing all of this because this is something funny that we do in my team every day.
Okay, let's hear it.
we usually we have a stand-up meeting, we hold each other accountable, we say affirmations, but we actually dance for 1 minute. 1 minute, we play just dance or one song, and the whole team dances for 1 minute. And the reason why is because sometimes you have a tough day, you have something, or you come from home, you have a problem with your wife, the kids, or something, and you have this low state, and suddenly you just dance for a minute,
Yeah.
and suddenly everything changes.
The energy.
The energy goes up, and I know that a lot of people know me. I love dancing. I think that life is like a dance, and really, we need to just have fun, enjoy it, and when we're going through difficult times, or you need to make a tough decision or something, let's do push-ups, dance, do something. And sometimes I play music and I just dance a little in my office. I say, you know what, everything's gonna be fine, but I change my state, and that gives me clarity and helps me to do something else. If I don't dance, the other thing that I do is run. If I have a bad day or a stressful day, or I am really stressed out, sometimes dancing is not the thing that I want to do. I just get in my treadmill, or I get in my tennis shoes, I go for a run, and after I run, I feel like it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
And it gives me clarity, and I'm like, okay, I know what to do. So dancing or exercising, running, I guess that it is just to get active, how my mind just...
But I do love the way you apply something that you love to do. And I know you love to dance, and I know you love to run, but you apply it so that it helps you, because you know it helps you for decision making, for your business, and I'm sure even for your personal life.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Sometimes the most stressful things that you can go is to when you go through problems personally, right?
That's right.
So how we just said is we need to be aware of ourselves, and it's different for everyone.
Sure.
One of the things that now I love to do in Florida, it's every Saturday when the weather is nice, I just go run on the beach, and then I jump in the water, and everything is gonna be fine, and live in the moment.
Yeah.
Suddenly you're just living in the moment, not in the future, because when there are problems and you're stressed out, it's because you're thinking of the consequences. But in the moment when I run, when I get tired, it's like, okay, I'm living the moment. What can I do now? What can I control? And sometimes things are going to happen, but you're like, we want to make it happen, or it's going to be okay.
It's perfect. Now I can see why you moved from Utah to Florida, so you could have those beach runs.
Hey, whenever you want to come, and whenever you guys want to come, I mean, it's beautiful, and you just run and just relax. Another thing is the ocean. It just gives me energy. It's something weird, but I love it.
I think most people would agree with you. Jona, listen, thank you so much for your time, for being so open and willing to share with our conversation here. Thank you. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you for all that you do, George.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Jona.